Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us today. We are again here to do a second or a repeat edition for the Microsoft campaign teaching the Sustainable Development Goals. We are always very happy to be of help in any which way we can. And today's webinar aims to equip you with relevant information and tools to enable you to take part in the world's largest lesson. Before I begin, let me introduce you to our my co-host, Shelly Sachdev. She's a consultant and workshop leader with thepedagogics. Though you know me very well, yet a simple explanation, introduction of who I am. I'm Meenakshi Uberoi, education evangelist and founding director of thepedagogics, and I'm here to help you understand better what this project is all about. Shelly, can we hear a hello from you?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you so very much for joining us again.
Without further ado, I think it's time for us to talk about today's campaign. The campaign is designed for educators in India, for all those who would like to teach children and young people about the Sustainable Development Goals, commonly known as the Global Goals. It is a plan to teach people about the goals and to enthuse you to create and share your own learning resources. We are always here to help you with any kind of resource, help, question, query, query that you have. And we will always be around to answer your questions through various medias. And you know very well how to reach us. In the chat window, I'll keep posting all the kind of resources that I can. Over to Shelly for giving you an introduction to a whole scenario.
Um, Hi everybody. Thank you so very much once again for joining us today on the eve of Independence Day. And what we are doing is we are doing a little repeat of the webinar that we had done last week also for the attendees. So let me just give you a little brief about what sustainable development goals are. And before I actually talk about sustainable goals, I think it will be better if I just tell you a little history about how United Nations came into being and what was the reason behind United Nations coming together as an organization and doing taking up all the initiatives that it is taking for the world. So, United Nations is an organization which was formed in 1945. I'm sure you would remember that at that time, Second World War had happened and the world was in ruins. So there were around 51 countries who had come together and signed a document because they all wanted peace to prevail in the whole world. So that's how United Nations was formed. And as on today, we have 193 member states of UN who are working towards international peace and security. So United Nations, it does all of this work by working to prevent conflict, peacekeeping activities, creating creating the conditions to allow peace to hold and flourish. So in fact, if I talk about how all of this would apply to us as educators and how does this play an important role in the field of education, I think since as educators, our aim is also to promote collaboration, cooperation. We want our students to be lifelong learners. We want our students to be at peace with each other and to respect each other's opinions. So all of this is directly aligned with UN's aims also. In fact, we have UN has a specialized agency for education, which is UNESCO, which aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong opportunities for all. So that is the reason education is just not a goal in itself. It actually is a means for attaining all the sustainable development goals, and that's how all of it started, and that's how we have reached this stage today, where teachers and students are more enthusiastic about meeting the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has come up with.
UN has a vision which Shelley has just shared the history with you, and UN has a vision to share with you. Well, here's the vision. Imagine a world where there is no poverty and zero hunger. We have good health and well-being, quality education, and full gender equality everywhere. There is clean water and sanitation for everyone, affordable and clean energy, has helped to create decent work and economic growth. Our prosperity is fueled investments in industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and that has helped us to reduce inequalities. We live in sustainable cities and communities, and responsible consumption and production is healing our planet. What an amazing view! Climate action has capped the warming of the planet, and we have flourishing life below water and abundant, diverse life on land. We enjoy peace and justice through strong institutions and have built long term partnerships for the goals. We are more proudly able to say that we all are together, the citizens of this beautiful planet called Earth. With that vision, and with the thought that you all actually share this thought with us, we are here with a new campaign which is called the Sustainable Development Goals, or Teaching with the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what sustainable development goals are. Although I'm very sure that as teachers, you must have come across SDGs going over the internet or in the newspapers. It's all much talked about concept. But before we actually start, getting into 17 sustainable development goals, it is extremely important that we understand the meaning of what sustainable development actually means. So the answer, I think, lies if we just look around ourselves and we see what are the kind of problems that we are facing today as people. I think the major issues that are prevalent in the world are climate change, desertification, water stress, ecosystem degradation. So these are the kind of issues where we have reached a tipping point, and after a certain point of time, the effects are going to be irreversible. So, how can we actually, as people, support a model of development which exhausts our natural resources and destroys the environment where we are only coexisting? So that's not really possible, and it won't go far a long way. So, sustainable development is a model of development where we can maintain and support, and it is the shared, holistic, and long-term vision which countries have agreed upon to be the best path forward for improving the lives of people everywhere. So it promotes prosperity and economic opportunity, greater social well-being, and protection of the environment. And the most important point here is that while doing all of this, we are not exhausting our natural resources, and we are actually talking about the future. So this is what sustainable development is, which has three major dimensions, which are interdependent. These are economic, social, and environmental. These are absolutely interdependent, and none of it can actually flourish without the support from the other two. So, I'll just share one very simple example with you. Let's suppose that there is a farm which pays workers fairly. It supports a local community school, but in doing all of this, it produces large amounts of greenhouse gases. So would you actually say that this is sustainable development? This is surely contributing towards economic security by paying the workers fairly, towards society by promoting the school. But in the long run, it is definitely harming the environment. It is contributing to a long-term, irreversible climate change. So it's not sustainable development, because one of the dimension of sustainable development is getting damaged. So this is not sustainable development. We need to come up with a sustainable development model. And in its initiatives, UN has come up with 17 sustainable development goals, which all the countries, the member states are supposed to be working towards. And from 2015 to 2030, we have to kind of, take up a lot of work on our shoulders to meet sustainable development goals. So there are 17 such sustainable development goals in existence today, which specifically, I think, major responsibilities for the teachers and the students to talk about it, because that's our larger community, and that's the stakeholders. The youth are the stakeholders for today and the future.
I completely agree, and we totally believe at Microsoft that educators have one of the most important jobs there is, helping empower young people with knowledge, skills, and confidence they need to thrive, not only in their own lives, but also become responsible citizens of the world. In our minds, each classroom, and each student will and should have different experiences with these 17 SDGs. We believe for these experiences to be impactful, all points need to be meaningful and authentic. Teachers can look to issues that impact students and their communities and create space for them to explore their own passion and their own style of learning. But that's what the crux is. Some students will be inventors, creating solutions to problems of global significance. Others may be innovators, identifying needs through research and evidencing. And some students may look to advocacy through campaigns that allow them to share their voices with the world. Through the use of technology, students as global collaborators can work together with international classmates, and you know how, to create digital artifacts to document and spread learning for greatest impact using Skype in the classroom. We have a very special and unique responsibility as educators, I feel, and by responding to the call of action of SDGs, we can empower our students to become not only participants but active solutions for today and for tomorrow. Let me take you to the next slide and actually give it to Shelly to explain to you what the focus for 2017 is. Shelly, over to you, please.
Yeah. So thank you, Meenakshi. The focus theme for 2017 is food. Although each of the 17 sustainable development goals are extremely important, and the countries have to, make equal efforts in achieving all of these 17. But year by year, we are going to take up, one particular theme, and we're going to work very diligently towards that particular theme. So for 2017, UN has decided that we are going to work towards zero hunger, or actually making people aware that how their food choices are going to affect SDGs. So since this is a campaign, and we are asking you for all the lesson plans, including activities and initiatives that you are going to take as educators with your students. So you can keep food in your mind. Maybe talk about plastic pollution and reducing food wastage, and so many other initiatives that you can take at your level with your students to help promote SDGs. So keep that particular theme in mind, although that's not really mandatory in this particular campaign, but it will be good idea that if we actually work around this particular theme. So it could be, any number of activities that you can do inside your school to promote this particular theme of SDGs. Maybe have, students stationed around the food deposit counters, monitoring wastage, and making people aware that how much food has been wasted, and how could this, food could have helped many people to be fed who are not, who are even lying below zero, poverty line, and all of that. So there are so many other things that you can do. Maybe spread awareness with your didis and bhaiyas and peons, and support people who don't know about these things maybe. So this is a major theme that we can actually, all of us can work together in this campaign.
Before we dwell deeper, let me just pause here to say that my eye is on the chat box, and Nishu Singh has very kindly joined us for being a moderator for the session, and she's going to keep her eye on the chat window. Therefore, please keep your comments and questions, queries and worries coming over there. And Aarti, yes, I understand that you cannot see the slide, but we've made these slides available to you offline and within your OneNote notebooks. These presentations, along with other resources, are all available to you through the OneNote notebook. Throughout this presentation, we will be sending you links from time to time to drive you towards those documents. So thank you for sharing your worry. And moving on, let me just bring to perspective what we are talking about right now. And I really want to bring your attention to how to bring these goals alive, because there have been many queries, in fact major queries around how to bring this alive in the classroom. What are the ways? And people have contacted me one-on-one for that matter, and I'm here to share with you how. For me, it's basically your actions that can actually save the world. So you don't, I would say, do not focus on any of the goals in particular way, but try and focus on something that is more universal by approach. there can be three type of actions that will come out at the end of this whole project, or if you are designing backward by design, keep the end in the goal. So you can have three types of actions. One is creating awareness, two is understanding and implementing the same in your surroundings, and third is action, that is it starts from me. So awareness can be through campaigns or something like doing something to tell others about it. So our aim, like Shelly said, is that every person on this earth should know that we have to collectively work towards making this earth a better place, and we should know our responsibility. So spreading awareness about the same is one of the actions that can be taken up. Understanding is by hosting events. There are many schools who are planning to host events around SDGs, and I've already gotten information from plenty of schools that are doing that, and it's really hats off to their efforts and the kind of time that they're spending on it. So yes, that is one kind of way of displaying your understanding. Third is action, which means students, they say that the change begins with me, and they start making those little changes, as simple as I will not waste food on my plate, as simple as I will be very conscious even while drinking a glass of water. I might not fill it to the brim, and I might say that I'll have half. Maybe if I'm able to finish this, I might pick up more. Similarly, they can start, we in our own classrooms can start appreciating small innovations that they make and little changes that they bring in into our classrooms, and start saying that yes, and showing them the way of how this is going to contribute worldwide into bringing a worldwide change. Here's a little example for just sharing with you that these are the pie graphs of 4 different countries as to how what is the food consumption or what is the nutrient consumption like in the 4 countries. Now, if I show this sort of a pie graph to all my students, what they can do is they can either work towards creating awareness, compare all the graphs to understand, and of course generate their own understanding. Once they have arrived at an understanding, they have 3 options. Either they create an awareness about, look what I know, and I want you to know too, so that you can make a difference too. 2 is they understand and they start working like with agencies or institutes or NGOs, or start looking at various ways in which they can bring about a change or be a part of that change. Social media is very strong, not only for understanding, not only for creating awareness, but also sharing your understanding. That's very important, and making others understand. Have some yam jams, have some e-debates on the Teams, Microsoft Teams. Have Yammer as a discussion forum for your students. You all have Office 365 free of cost available to you. You must make the best use of all the Microsoft tools that you can. I would urge you here that you should look within your Microsoft environment as to what tools to be used, because they are very rich tools, and I really feel they're underutilized. Therefore, we are trying to create more opportunities for these tools to be used more meaningfully. Then of course there's action. There's so much that the children can do, but what I want to bring to your attention is such a simple exercise has unconsciously brought into place so many goals. We are not only looking at reducing poverty or working towards no poverty or no hunger, we are also looking at goal 3, 5, 12, 13, 15 and 14. And this is all not consciously planned, but if you think about it from that angle, you will understand what I'm saying. Similarly, if you want to work with a cluster of goals, this is a glimpse into how you can work into a cluster of goals. What you can do is you can look at the STEM education that is already happening in your schools. Working towards STEM or STEAM would directly impact goal number 9. Along with that, you might have many connected agendas. So please look for those. I'm going to pause a little on this slide because we had that they also explained many things in this. And I would want you to take cognition of something as simple as working on education, or special needs. You are basically You're basically looking at gender equality, you're looking at bringing in quality education, you're looking at reducing inequalities, while you're only working on education as one of the focuses, but you're primarily focusing on goal 4, 5, and 10 together. I hope this is able to bring in some perspective of working on cluster goals. And while you're working on cluster goals, please do bring into focus that how your little efforts have enabled you working on a larger perspective and reaching out to a larger audience and reaching out or working towards larger number of goals. That's very important. Um, I think this is the time when we'll start taking you into our how this project works, and I'll give it to Shelly for her to explain to you how this will work.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. And I'm just going to quickly share my screen to show you how we have planned this campaign and how the whole course resides on MEC. So I'm going to now start sharing my screen and take you through the education.microsoft.com. Just give me a moment. It's just getting buffered. Are you able to see my screen?
It's still loading, Shelly.
Okay. I have just started streaming it. So I think most of you who are there on Skype, who are there on MEC, I'm sure you must be aware with the tab called courses and resources. So first thing that you need to do is actually go on education.microsoft.com. You need to have a sign in for that. So after you sign into your accounts, you need to go to courses and resources, which is an orange band on the left hand side. So as soon as you actually click on courses and resources, it's just loading for me. As soon as you click on courses and resources, the first thing that you will see is the campaign, which is already live and it's in action on MEC. It's called the Teaching SDGs campaign. Is it visible now, Meenakshi?
Yes, please go on.
Okay, just one sec. So as you can see on my screen, it says join thousands in world's largest lesson to teach SDGs. That's the name of the course. And you can simply click on start now from here and go inside this course, which Microsoft has specifically designed for educators to take forward in their classrooms. This is a 500 points course and 1 hour duration that you can do. And it has some wonderful resources, and it actually, the best thing is that it starts from the history. So it talks about how UN was formed, how MDGs came into existence, and what was the gaps in achieving those MDGs, that SDGs came into being, and how educators actually can do all of these initiatives with UN to support them in their pursuit of SDGs. So there are a lot of video resources also for the students, and each of the goals is very clearly explained, including the food theme, right? So all of this is here. So as part of this campaign, since you are taking it forward with the students, it's extremely important that you actually earn a badge for this particular course on MEC, and won't take you long if you go through all the resources and read through them carefully and attempt the quiz in the end. It won't take you more than 1 hour to do that. And the best thing is that it will give you a lot of idea about how to take this particular project forward with your students, because this is a complete lesson in front of you. And also it has a lot of lesson plans also from all the other educators who are doing this sort of campaign and projects in their own classroom. So you will get a very fair idea of how you want to take it forward, maybe take few ideas from these lesson plans and then embed them inside your own project ideas. So all of this is very clearly explained on MEC, and as part of this campaign, we urge you to please go through this and earn an MIE badge for this particular thing, and it will earn you a bonus point when we evaluate your projects. So that's about MEC.
Great. But what can we do is the question on your mind. We are not government or anything. The most important thing is that we all get on the same page. Here's what you can do. I've already posted the lesson plan of the way you can make a lesson plan. I've already posted that link in the chat window, and here's the OneNote link given to you. I'll now request Shelly to take you to that OneNote notebook so that you know what is it that you can do. We've added many resources over there. For those who joined last time, again I'm urging, please revisit this notebook many a times to know what's new here, because we have added, and you should know by now if you're a OneNote user, that how do you locate new stuff. You locate new stuff if something is in bold. Shelly, this is the point for you to take them to the OneNote notebook, please. Shelly, are you there? I guess we've lost Shelly there. Never mind. I'm going to take you, I'll just share my screen with you, and I'll take you to the OneNote notebook. Let me just see. If you can see this, please can you give me a thumbs up in the chat window? Awesome. I think I can see me. Oh, thank you, Rashi. Thank you for that. And let me take you to the OneNote notebook here. This is the MEC course that Shelly was talking about, and I'll just take you to the OneNote notebook. Here's the OneNote notebook. The first page is the introductory page, which tells you all the details about the entire webinar and the program and the project, of what you can do, where does it reside, all that we've been talking about right now. Here it is. Then are the terms and conditions, and I will urge you once again to please read these terms and conditions. They were also given along with the link. All the deadlines and the dates and announcements, all dates are mentioned here. All of that has been packed up into various pages for your convenience. And here are some resources for you. These are some lesson plans on the right, and here are some videos which you can use at your convenience within your classes. Then of course we have very nicely laid out the stepwise checklist for you. You should know what to do, what's next, step 1, step 2, step 3. Everything is very clearly laid down over here. Next section being the most important section, that is the reference or the resources. Here's a number of reference material. This is where we keep adding. If you see the box that I'm moving right now is the new box. This element is also new, so there are many new elements that we'll keep adding, and we've given you some interesting links also that you can visit. For those who were worried about the presentations that you're not able to see, here are the presentations, the introductory video links, and the case studies that we have collected for you. We had taken girls at the world theme. If we are focused on women or girls, how do you see in this slide, how do you see these 17 global goals? So that's a whole presentation that we have collated for you. Then of course there are the sample plans, most importantly, because sometimes you know what to do, but you just don't know how to give it a vision. So here's a look into what a sample lesson plan can look like. This is a sample lesson plan about transform your world using the global goals. This gives you very good ideas of what your driving questions can be, what will you get at the end of the whole process once you have done, and how can you transform the world. Then there's another example right below this of goal 14, how in an English class using cartoons can you actually so simply just bring in the goal 14 alive in your classroom. The students have just created a and awareness using cartoons as a series. Similarly, you'll get some English, some economic plans, economics being one of the toughest subjects that I felt in my schooling days. Therefore, here's a subject area which we've dealt with, which we have brought to you a whole lesson plan of how you can deal with economics sustainability using the SDGs. Of course, the next section is the evaluation criteria or the rubric. Shelly, are you here? Okay, I can't hear Shelly, but I saw her coming in, so I'm assuming Shelly is here. Still, I'll carry on. This is a rubric which you must evaluate, even if you have an existing plan. Now, these points are very important. I really request you to listen carefully because many questions have been around this. You can work in combination with your friends, which means you can have 2 or 3 educators to work on the same lesson plan or project plan. Yet, with every teacher or every subject coming in, there is a different focus. Please bring in that focus, use that focus as your lesson plan focus and submit your own lesson plan. Do not submit group lesson plans. Show what your contribution or your focus or your subject plan was in that entire project plan to submit a group project plan. I hope I've made this clear enough. If you've understood this, please give me a thumbs up in the chat window. And also, what you must do is you must take a look at this evaluation criteria, self-evaluate here to understand where you stand. We've very clearly given you the points which our judges will be using to evaluate your plans. Most important are, or no, not really most important, I would say here's something bonus, something that will add on to your platter is if you bring along 2 educators and you make them become MIEs and make them participate in this project, you get 1 bonus point. Every point in this webinar matters. This project is full of your points. If you're not able to get that 1 point, believe you me, I would consider myself at loss. Therefore, bring along 2 educators, show them the way to become MIEs, and we'll just post the link in the box again to help you become MIEs, and then you get, if they become and apply and be a part of this project, you get a bonus point there. You can earn another badge, which is the Teaching the SDG badge. Though this is optional, yet this gets you 1 point. So I'm going to pause here to take your questions before I move forward to show you where to post. I'm going to stop presenting and take your questions here. Shelly, are you here? I think Shelly has turned into a guest.
Yeah, Meenakshi, thank you so much. I think I had lost my connection in between, so I was
That's all right.
Yes, so now I'm back. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So any questions there? Any questions? Could you catch? Okay, please suggest.
What's the last date of submitting the lesson plan?
Last date? Do we give it away or do we show it in the notebook? Shelly, why don't you show it in the notebook so that I can take a look at other questions coming in till then. What I read here is, please suggest Office 365 tools for grade 2. I think any grade can use n number of tools provided your plan is such that the children are able to do it. As simple as you can even use OneNote. How we recommend using OneNote is you design a page for students to respond, and then you share that page by going into, let's say, a computer lab. Let's say you don't have, I'm not too sure if you have one-on-one learning or not, but if you have a one-on-one learning, then great, you can do it within your class. Just go to today's meet and share the link. Otherwise, take them to book your ICT lab and take them to the computer lab. give them access to that page and let them store. What this is going to do is this is going to help students collaborate, work with each other, look at what others are doing to trigger thinking. Also, what this will do is this will compile all your work in one section, which otherwise you would just sit, scan the pages, take pictures, and then put it. OneNote is going to make your life totally simple. Other way is use Sway in a collaborative mode. And the best thing, I don't know whether you've got this update till now or not, but Sway can now be downloaded in the form of a PDF, so which is excellent, which is such a boon in the class. I hope that answers your question, Shruti. Please let me know if it does. Otherwise, we'll give you more inputs. You're dealing with early years, and can I go ahead with it? Definitely, Prerna. Definitely, Prerna, you can go ahead with it. Early years can do a lot. They sing lovely songs. Please teach them some songs to do with SDGs, the goals, the way they can meet. Their tiny little steps that they're going to take today, they're going to remember all their lives. And that's another way of bringing in consciously SDGs into their mindsets. So bringing them up with a mindset of achieving these goals is also extremely important for us. Shelly, I'll just take 2-3 more questions and then I'll give it to you.
Rashi has a question.
Yeah, I think I missed. Go ahead, please.
Rashi has a question that do we need to work only on food goal, or there are other goals that also we can work upon?
You can work on any goal possible. We have given you that 2017 is the focus, has a focus of working on food as a theme, but you may choose to work any, because we understand that you cannot really twist and turn your classrooms in one day to align your classrooms to this project. Therefore, that's why we gave you a window into how you can find multiple goals within the projects that you can run in your class, which might align to your curriculum. We wouldn't want you to drop everything and start teaching this, but we would want you to align whatever you are teaching to the SDGs. Isha has a question there. Can we upload the lesson plan for pre-primary classes? Yes, definitely you can. I think I've already shared, yet if you have another question, go ahead and ask. I think for the time being, we have covered all the questions. So Shelly, please feel free to tell them about the last date of submission and so on. And also how to submit the plan.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Last date to submit your entries is 31st of August. And this was actually mentioned in the, Meenakshi has already shown you how to reach OneNote, and we'll again share the link with you. So on the introduction page itself, all the deadlines are clearly mentioned. This campaign is running from Friday 11th of August to Monday 11th of September. But the plans need to come in by 31st of August, because we need some time to actually evaluate all the entries, so that we can, announce the results on 11th of September. So as Meenakshi had told you already, that there will be winners, 2-3 top winners, and with 2 special mentions also on Yammer as well as on social media. So we will announce all of the results on 11th of September. And there are actually, 2 ways in which you can actually submit your plans. So one way is, let me just share my screen with you so that I can share the where you need to go in order to submit your plan. Let me just quickly share my screen and show it to you.
Till the screen uploads, let me take Neelam's query. Neelam says that can only the plan needs to be submitted. We can continue with the project, which means implementation of the project. Yes, thank you, Neelam. You've understood it absolutely correctly. You only need to submit the plan if you have already not done the plan. We do not expect student examples right now, but in case you have run it in the near past, then definitely please share your student examples as to how it has brought the impact. It's always impactful to share student examples, and also I feel that in case you can share some projected resultants, or what are you expecting out of this whole project, it helps our judges to see what your vision is. Go ahead, Shelly, please.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Is my screen visible?
Absolutely it is.
Great. So right now I'm on the same OneNote notebook that Meenakshi has explained to all of you. So if you see, I'm in the introduction section inside the stepwise checklist page. So there's a beautiful checklist that we have made for you, just to help you with the flow of this whole campaign. So if you see the last step, which is step 6, we have a form created for you. It says submit the entries on this form. So there is a office form where you just need to click on this particular link, and you need to submit your plan there. But before that, of course, you need a link where you are actually going to place or upload the plan. So if you see on the left hand side, I'm going to MIE project plan section out here. So if I go to MIE project plan section, here is where you need to insert your page saying SDG goal number, and then insert your project title here. So whatever your project is, please be very careful with your school name and your own name. So you make your own page out here and upload the plan here. Then the link of this particular page needs to be submitted on the form which I was just telling you about in the stepwise checklist. So first, create your page in MIA project plans, get the link from there, and submit the entries on the office form. So that's the way you need to submit your form.
I think by now we've covered most of the things, and we are very happy to take your questions. Please go ahead and ask. One more question that has come in very frequently is that if I share my plans, does it mean we are copying each other from each other? No, it is really not copying. We like to share each other's plans to see how we can plan together, plan better, and maybe work on somebody's plan to make it, take it to the next level. Here are a few things that I would like to bring to your notice. Critical elements to make your lesson plan great is think about how to make this lesson feel different from any other. One is, you tell them about the SDGs, creating games about it. That's just awareness. Take it to the next level. Reach out to a much larger audience and show them give them a lot of exposure to many videos. Consider how students can become immediate ambassadors for the goals rather than you being an ambassador for the goal. It should be the voice of a student that should be more heard of. Try and make a direct connection between the global goals and your students' lives. That's bringing learning closer to your learner, and that's the whole goal. Just make your lesson active. Let it be active through the whole, even the whole project. It really doesn't matter. It's really up to you which direction you take it, and you can do so much. You can play mystery goals with each other, just the way Soma has said that her students are working on something. Prerna said her students are working on something. Why don't you play games with each other to say what your goal is? So that's also creating awareness and also displaying your understanding. Invite guest speakers. There are so many guest speakers that are available on SDGs. There are Facebook pages. There is a whole Facebook page on SDG change makers who have caught attention of our project, and they are following us very closely as to what we are doing. So please expect global audience to see what you're doing, and the whole aim and objective here is to give you a global audience. So have a lesson plan where you're working with others. Take virtual field trips to places to show children where all of this exists, and turn determination and enthusiasm into action. That's most important for us. I see a question in the window, and that's very important. Thank you, Vinita. Do we have to upload the lesson plan on MEC also? Well, MEC gives you an option to participate in one of the contest, I would say, or maybe some project. Yes, definitely, but that is other than this. You need to be a part of this project and submit in the two ways which Shelly has shared with you. Either share a link to your plan in the OneNote notebook or fill up the form, whichever way you want it. Thirdly, there is a link on MEC also where you can submit your plan and be a part of a much larger project, which is a global project. Also, over the web, there are many projects where you can submit. we will post after you've submitted on 31st of August your plans. We will try and bring you more links where you can post these plans to make it bring you a more larger audience. So I hope this was clear. And anything that you want to ask here, we are happy to answer, but please do spread the word. It is extremely important for your students to become global students and ask and tweet about it. You know our hashtags. Our hashtag for this project, this particular project, is I Teach SDG. And also you must accompany hashtag MSFTEDU, which is our Microsoft Education hashtag, and you all are very, very familiar with that. I know we are running out of time, therefore I'm first going to thank those who have joined in. So thank you so very much for joining in today. We're absolutely delighted to have you here talk about SDGs, because we feel very extremely deeply about it, and we are definitely open to your questions. We are here even if the time is up. We are absolutely here and open to questions. So yeah, Shelly, I'm just going to turn you into presenter, and things happen when you use technology, and it's all right to be with it. Anything?
Thank you so much. I keep getting lost. I just lost the connection again.
That's all right. Anything that you would like to ask, we are available here. You know our WhatsApp group is always alive 24/7. We have Yammer, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn. We have so many ways to come to you and stay connected. Therefore, we really expect you to please participate wholeheartedly here. And thank you so much for joining in.
Yeah, Meenakshi, I think we have already shared now that the duration of the plan could be a short-term plan or a long-term plan as well.
Thank you. That's why we always have two presenters. We might forget. Yes, we did not mention it this time. Your plan can be for a day, for 2 days, for a week, for a month, or a year-long plan. It's completely and totally up to you. But please remember, when you are working with a group of teachers, please submit your plans individually, sharing very, very clearly what your role play was or what your subject's role play was in that project. You need to show examples and actions through pictures and videos if you already have those, Pooja. In case you don't, you can say that, this is the projected result, or this is in process, or you can share your vision with us rather than sharing actual examples. As and when you have actual examples and you have the permission to share them, please go ahead and share them with us. We would definitely want to take a look at them. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it'll be great if you're starting with your plan, execution of the plan. If you're starting now and you're doing some inquiry activities on SDGs, then would be good if you share it, but that's not a mandatory requirement from our side.
I'm sharing the hashtag here for you, Aarti. It's hashtag I Teach SDG and hashtag MSFTEDU. Definitely what helps is if you tag us, if you tag thepedagogics, or if you tag any of us along with, it really helps us catching your tweets. Same goes for Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere where you are doing, please tag Microsoft India while you are doing any of these projects. It really helps catching your posts. We are still here for another 5 minutes to catch on your questions and queries. Anything that you want to ask, please go ahead and ask. We know many of the schools have been working in combination with the British Council, and you have many lesson plans from them to implement in your schools. We are happy to see how you have used Microsoft tools in those lesson plans to make them live, and that is our one of the major focuses, how you've brought in technology into those plans. Because what we see is ideas, what we are looking for is implementation. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Neelam. I hope this has answered all the questions. Like last time, we will try our level best to share a recording of this, because we have used multiple ways of recording it, and we should be able to share it. So definitely you'll get a recording of this. It will be posted on all social media and also be available in the OneNote notebook that has been shared with you. Thank you, and thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Nishu. Thank you so very much. I think we've had a great webinar. I'm going to stop recording, but we are still around for any questions, any queries. And thank you so very much once again for joining in. Thank you, and a very, very, very happy Independence Day to you all.